Is your computer fast enough to day trade with right now? I don't mean can it open a browser tab. I mean, can it handle multiple trading platforms, real-time data, level 2 quotes, dozens of charts, and routing all of your orders, all without freezing, lagging, or bottlenecking? If you're not 100% sure, stick with me, because I'm going to walk you step by step through a test you can run right now to find out if your trading computer is helping you or if it's costing you real money. Let me paint a picture for you. You've got the right setup. You've got the perfect entry, your chart's perfectly set up, everything's lined up. You click buy, and suddenly your screen stutters, your order lags. You get filled 12 cents higher than expected. That's slippage. Slippage is when there's a delay between what you see on the screen and when your order actually gets filled. The price you get filled at is completely different or significantly different from what you expected. And that delay, even if it's just a second or so, it can cost you hundreds or thousands of dollars. And most of the time, it's not your broker's fault. It's your computer or it's your internet. So let's make sure your tech isn't working against you. At the heart of your system is the CPU, the processor, also called the central processing unit. In this video, we'll just say CPU. And the CPU, it's the engine of the computer. It turns that fire hose of market data into your charts, into your domes, into your indicators, and into your orders, everything you see on your screen. And if that engine is too weak, you're stuck in the slow lane while the market just blows you by. So here is how you check what processor you have in your computer. So here's how you check what processor is inside your computer. First thing you want to do is hit that start button in Windows 11. So here's the start button. And by the way, if you're still using Windows 10, it is at the end of its life. And my recommendation is that you either upgrade to Windows 11 or you get a new computer now. You click start. You start typing system information and you'll see the window populate. You want to go ahead and click on system information. This box will load up, and what you want to do is come down. You want to look for the line that says processor. It's about 10 lines down. In this case, I happen to be using a laptop. It's the AMD Ryzen 9 7945HX. So whatever processor is in your machine, after you go to the system information page, write it down, write down the manufacturer. 99% of the time, it's going to be AMD or it's going to be Intel, and the name of the processor, AMD Ryzen 9 7945HX. So that's what I'm writing down. So now what you want to do is go to a browser, go to easytradingcomputers.net/CPU. Go to the site, let it load, just skip this video, click this Windows icon, get started, and underneath the video, you will see a box. It says search CPU. And what you want to do is type in the full name of your processor, AMD Ryzen 9 7945HX. So go ahead and enter your processor, click the next step. It will ask for your email. Just go ahead and put your email in there. And on the very next page, it's going to tell you your benchmark score. Now, my benchmark score here is 54,828. So after you run that test, you're going to know your exact processor and you're going to know your CPU benchmark score. Here is what you need to know. The minimum score we recommend for trading is 25,000, but that is just to scrape by. What we actually recommend is 50,000 or higher. And if you want to eliminate slippage, avoid freezing, and future-proof your setup, 25,000 is like driving a sedan. It's just going to get you by. 50,000 or more is a high-performance sports car. It's that new Corvette ZR1. And remember, some of today's CPUs benchmark at 60,000 and are closing in on 70,000. And the higher that score, the longer your computer is going to last. And the better it's going to perform when the markets get intense, like when the market opens and during Fed days and during those super volatile times. And by the way, I explain all of this again in the Complete Guide to Trading Computers, which you can download by clicking the link in the description. Now let's go deeper on slippage for a second. I've talked to traders who've lost a couple of $100, even a couple of $1,000, not because of a bad setup, but because their computer caused a delay. Everything else was perfect, but the fill was late. The chart froze, the price jumped, and there was a tiny delay. You don't want to be in that situation. And that brings us to the second critical factor in your setup, and that is your internet connection. And here's a big myth I hear all the time. I pay for fast internet, so I'm good. Well, not always. Your provider may say you're getting high speeds, but you don't know what you're really getting unless you test it. So let's run a real live speed test. So to test your real internet speed, and I don't care what your provider says you're getting, here's how you run a real test. There are online tests, but I would recommend you go to easytradingcomputers.net/speed. Once you get there, scroll under the video and run the test. So when you get to the page, go ahead and scroll down under the video. There's this big go button here. Go ahead and click that big go button. And the first number you're going to see here is the ping. And the ping is the time it takes for a really small packet of data to travel from your machine to your provider's closest server and back. Think of it like making a phone call. It's the time it takes for the other side to answer the call. And ideally, you want this number under 50 milliseconds or optimally under 30 milliseconds. Here I'm at 2 milliseconds. Anything over 100 milliseconds, and you're definitely going to have issues with slippage and bad executions. The next number we're going to look at is this jitter. The jitter is how consistent is the ping. If the jitter is higher, your data will stutter or burst on and off. And that is a huge problem for live quotes, and it's a huge problem for order routing. We want this jitter to be as low as possible. Under 10 milliseconds is a really good number. Over 30 milliseconds, and your trading platform and your other apps like Zoom are going to drop out. You're going to have real problems. Now for download speed, we want at least 100 megabits per second, but that's a bare minimum. Here I'm taking in 939 megabits per second, and that's the same for the upload. So again, we want this ping under 30 milliseconds. We want this jitter under 10 milliseconds. We want the download of at least 100 megabits per second, upload at least 100 megabits per second. You want to try to buy as much speed as you possibly can. I've spoken to traders, and it always strikes me when I speak to these guys, traders who didn't want to upgrade from 50 megabits per second to 500 megabits per second because it costs an extra $50 a month. Really? Don't cheap out on internet speed. Saving $50 could cost you thousands on a bad trade. And never trade on a cellular network. Don't actively trade on your cell, even if it's 5G. Here are some speed test screenshots from cell phones of people who are on my team who live across the country. And as you can see, these numbers are not good enough for trading. Look at that ping, look at that jitter, look at those download speeds. Now, you can use your cell phone as a backup to exit a position in an emergency, like if your internet goes out, your computer totally dies, you can log into your trading platform, use it as a backup, but don't actively trade on a cell phone. So I seriously recommend that you call your internet provider, ask them for the fastest plan they offer. And if they can't get you to at least 100 megabits per second, it might be time to switch providers. Now, some people think they have no other option for faster internet. And that is no longer true. Even if you live in the boondocks, or there are many areas where it's a monopoly, you simply don't have a choice. There is a new alternative that I think is excellent, and it's called Starlink. Here is a screenshot from my colleague who lives in the boonies in Colorado. She's running on Starlink satellite. These numbers are actually pretty decent. And when she sent me these numbers, even I was surprised. So let's run a final checklist. 1, you want a CPU benchmark score, minimum 25,000. I recommend at least 50,000 plus. If your benchmark score is below 25,000, you need to retire that computer to just surfing the web. Maybe give it to a friend, give it to a kid, give it away to charity. But that thing is not powerful enough for trading. On your internet speed, you want your ping under 30 milliseconds. You need that jitter under 10 milliseconds. You want that download speed at least 100 megabits per second or more. The more the better. Upload, same thing, 100 megabits per second or more. The more the better. And no cell phone day trading unless it's a last resort backup. If your computer isn't hitting these numbers, it's holding you back. Now, if you want to make sure your next machine is built for real trading performance, Click the link in the description and grab your free copy of the complete guide to trading computers. It is absolutely jam-packed with checklists, benchmarks, and real-world tips to help you build or buy the perfect system without wasting your money on features you don't need. Thanks for watching. I'm Eddie Z, and I'll see you in the next video.